Hey guys, Walaman here with your 5th episode of Adaptive, the video show for disabled gamers. So this week I'm going to talk a little bit about anxiety. I know it veers a little bit away from the physical disabilities that I've been talking about, but I think mental and neurological issues are just as important as physical disabilities, and sometimes they can be just as debilitating. So I think there's something that's really important to talk about. So over the last couple weeks, just about since I started the site actually, I've been playing with this guild on Wormrest Accord called Swords for Everyone, which is a really great guild. They focus primarily on people with social anxiety, um, people who have trouble interacting with other individuals, or who may not always, be really thrilled with interacting with other people, and it's a guild with a strong message of, hey, we're gonna get over our issues, and if you're not gonna use this, yeah, I mean, yes, the guild will be a safe place, but you're not just gonna use this guild as a safe place where you can ignore your issues. This guild's gonna be something where you can, really make sure you're growing past your issues, and if you're not willing to grow past those issues, then you don't really belong in the guild. Um, so I think that's a great message that they have, and I've talked with them and been hanging out with them recently, and they're a really great guild and a really strong group of players. Excuse me. I was sick this weekend, so I'll probably be taking a lot of drinks. Sorry for the scratchy voice. So I know for me personally, I sometimes have issues with social anxiety, and with like performance anxiety, I guess it would be, within the game. I know there are times where I know that objectively I'm probably physically capable of performing the task that I need to for, say it's a raid finder, but I might get nervous about, especially recently, the issue I've been having is I stopped healing and I've been tanking. And going into raid finder as a tank, you're one of only two people, so there's a lot more there's a spotlight on you, I guess. And there is in five mans as well, but I think it's a little bit different in raid finder just because it's a raid and there's higher level of performance that's needed. So that's been something where I know when I've been doing it, I just haven't been enjoying myself very much, just because I would get so anxious about, oh my god, I can't mess this up, I need to do this right, because if I mess up, everyone's going to notice. And I think that's something that's a lot of people deal with. Whether they're medically diagnosed with having, general anxiety disorder, or whether they're just normal people who just worry a lot. And sometimes, I think people just worry a lot about their performance and things like that. So I think it's really important that people learn to grow past anxiety, and grow past the issues that they sometimes have um, with playing the game. I think there's two. I mean, there's several, obviously, but there's two types of kind of uh, issues that I've noticed I have personally, and are common, I guess, would be the way of saying it. Is I notice there are some individuals who they're worried about their performance, and that's what they get really worried about. They get very worried about making a mistake, and I think in that situation, then what you have to be very careful of is rational self-talk, because you have to, you know, are your worries rational? If you're not geared at all and you don't know the class, then yeah, maybe you shouldn't be in Raid Finder. But if you're reasonably geared, and you feel like you're succeeding in five mans and not having too many issues in five mans, um, then yeah, go ahead and at least try stepping into Raid Finder, things like that. And maybe that's even as simple as you're questing, and you feel like you're getting a basic grasp of the game, but then you're not doing scenarios or five mans. I would say pretty much so far what I've seen is most of the scenarios I've seen could be done. Sorry, excuse me. Uh, could be done by two people. So I think a scenario is a very safe place to go check out group content and not have to worry too much about performance. And five mans, there's another kind of level, but it's still not quite up there with rating. And I think especially if you still have the mindset of old rating of pre-Mists of Pandaria, or I guess pre 4.3, so Dragon Soul. It was escaping me. Dragon Soul is what I was trying to say. Pre-Dragon Soul rating, where it's a normal guild and you're having to show up every week and stuff like that. It's not like that in Raid Finder, and I think um, it's something I think no matter what that is, it certainly can't hurt. I know it's very easy to say this, and I know it's a lot easier for me to say this than it is to go out and do this, but it can't hurt to try. Worst case, you do terribly, you drop out, you take the debuff, and you never do it. Then that's the absolute worst case. Like if you really hate your experience, you never do it again, and then you've lost nothing. Um, you've at least tried. And best case scenario, you love it and you start doing it all the time. So I think it's definitely worth the risk. But it's a lot easier to say than it is to actually put into action. So I think as I said before, the when you're worried about performance, then it's the negative self-talk that you have to be worried about. Is you have to make sure that you're not underselling yourself, and make sure that you're honest with yourself about what you can do in the game. And a good way of doing that is asking friends that you trust, um, if you have them in the game, if to see what they think of how you would do in certain content. And I think especially if they're people who have done that content and who know what it's like. And also trying it with friends is a great way of getting into something. Is if you queue up for Raid Finder and half the group is friends, then it's a lot easier of a scenario than going into a full pug. Um, and but unfortunately, that leads to the kind of second issue that some people run into, is some people just simply have difficulties interacting with people. They just, as a general rule, aren't, they might not be very social. They might have, diagnosed medical issues with social interactions such as autism. And because of that, it's very difficult for them to, uh, to interact with people. And I think if you're one of those people, then what you have to do is you kind of have to uh, gauge, I think, what you can be able to do is, I think, if you're sitting in there, and if you're honestly, if you're trying a five man, but, because you always get annoyed at everyone, and you're just not enjoying yourself, then, yeah, maybe you don't want to do five man content or raid finder content, whatever the case may be. But if it's because you're worried about making a mistake, or if it's because you're worried that you might hurt someone's feelings, um, then I think you have to go ahead and go out on a limb and really try it. Because at the end of the day, you might really enjoy it, and I think that's something that is really important. Is if anything that'll improve your enjoyment of the game is something you should be trying. Because at the end of the day, it's a game. If you enjoy solo questing, that's all you ever want the game to be, fine. Go ahead, do that. It's perfectly reasonable. Um, but I think there are other avenues within the game, and I think it certainly can't hurt to try them out and to see what they're like, and to find out if you enjoy them. You can't say, "Oh, I hate PvP," if you've never PvP'd before. Um, well, I mean, I guess you can say that. You just aren't gonna sound very intelligent. Um, I think you have to at least go ahead and try, and make sure, if you can, try in a situation that's skewed towards having good results, and that generally means making friends, and getting people who you trust within the game. And I think if you're if you're the type of person, you're struggling to find people like that in the very first place, but you want to do all this stuff, then looking at guilds who specialize in this sort of stuff, like Don't Panic and like Swords for Everyone, is something that you should be doing, and something that can really help. Um, So I think I'm gonna go ahead and end it here. You guys can, if you're watching this on YouTube, check us out at theadaptivegamer.com. That's theadaptivegamer.com. You can, the easiest way to contact me is to create a membership on theadaptivegamer.com. It doesn't cost anything, just need your email, and go ahead and message me, Walaman, on that site. It's the easiest way to reach me. So thanks guys for tuning in, and I will catch you next week.